tuning into Jam TV. If you're not part of the family, remember, it's never too late. Smash that sub button along with that notification bell for further videos. So, I've been getting a lot of requests from you guys. A lot of you guys want to know how I handle divorce. Now, it's not me that's divorced because I've never been married, but I'm going to get married February 1st, 2020. But how do I handle my parents' divorce? I've been receiving a lot of requests of people wanting me to talk about that, and I want to let you guys know how I've handled it, what I've done. And I'm still coping with it, and I'm still trying to handle it. It's not very easy for me. I still am having trouble handling it. So I'm just going to give you a little breakdown on my life and how my parents met and so on, so you guys can get the gist. So my parents met in college. They went to Indiana State University. My mother was a business administrative major and my father was civil engineering. And my father told me he saw her playing tennis, and the moment he laid his eyes on my mother, he was like, that was it, that was my wife. So he constantly went to her dorm room every day asking her for a date. Hey, will you go out with me? Will you go out with me? She's like, nah, I'm not interested. Nah, I'm good. You know, that bougie stuff or whatever. So finally my dad was like, shoot, I was done trying. I was done trying to woo your mom or whatever. Then when he stopped is then when my mom got interested in my dad. They went on a date, and it's been history ever since then. They got married. Then they had me a year later. Of course, they finished college, and then they moved down to Houston because they were living in Indiana, and it's been history ever since. My parents were married for 34 years. That's my whole life. All I know is my mother and my father. I did not grow up with my dad's side of the family, and I did not grow up with my mom's side of the family, and I'm the only child. So it's been very hard for me, and I'm sorry if I'm getting a little emotional, but this is a very, very, very rough topic for me to talk about. But we came to Houston, I was 2, and I started to live life without any family besides my mom and my dad. So my mom and my dad are like my uncle, my aunt, my grandma, my grandpa, my cousins, everything that you can think of. Now, I do have family out there, and I know who they are, and I love them all, but I didn't grow up with them, so it's a little different. I know more of my friends than I do with my family, and that's because my parents left Indiana, and then they didn't move to Miami where my mom's side of the family's at, so they came to Houston to start a new life. Well, we did everything together. I mean, from family vacations to date night, they took me because they didn't have a sitter. I did everything with them. We called each other the tripod.
The stars were gone and the sun was dead. You be all I need, and hey, baby, I'ma tell the world.
It was us 3. We went everywhere together, all vacations, everything. And every holiday, it was lonely for me because I wanted a brother or a sister, and my mom didn't give me that. It was lonely because I wanted to feel that family vibe. Like, I see my friends, they go to their family for Thanksgiving and it's 12 people sitting at the table, and I wanted that family kind of vibe. But my parents did the best they could, just us 3, and it felt like that family kind of vibe. So I've grown so close to them. Anytime I had any problems, anytime I had any issues, they were the ones that I would go to with anything. I never kept secrets from them. A little bit, but I had to tell them. I can't, because they're like my best friends. But my parents, I trust them, and they were the ones that I could talk to about anything without feeling judged. So I went to high school, I went to college, and right after I got out of college, my parents' marriage started crumbling. And I remember my mother telling my father, you have 3 years to get yourself together. Now, my father had an issue with spending money. He would make big deals. He owned his own business. He would make big deals, and he'd just blow the money on jewelry or whatnot. And as you guys know, divorce rate, money is like one of the biggest things that people get divorced for. So my father was just not doing things right. And my mother gave him 3 years to shapen up, and he did not. I remember even the day when my mother had told me, hey, I'm going now to the court to finalize the divorce. I said, Father, mother's going. Aren't you going to fight? Aren't you going to fight for her? Aren't you going to do something? Even my father didn't even believe it. He said, close the door. Your mom ain't going nowhere. Shut the door. So bottom line, jammers, is my father took my mother for granted. That is one thing that a lot of people do in relationships. They don't take it serious because they're so used to you guys being together for so long that you guys don't think that there could be a time of separation. Well, I've witnessed it myself. 34 years of marriage, and they're no longer married. And it's been a living nightmare for me. Now, yes, I'm an adult, but it's so hard for me, even harder for me, because I am an adult and I understand what divorce is. So let me tell you how hard it's been for me to deal with it. So remember, I'm used to spending Thanksgiving and Christmas with them every year. Well, now I have to see, I know my father will be there, but my mother remarried and her husband is not the same religion as us. He's Jewish, so he doesn't celebrate the holidays. So that's one thing. Another thing is my father and my mom's husband, they don't get along. They don't even want to see each other. They don't want to be in the same presence with each other. They don't even want to know each other. Period, point blank. So that makes it very hard, jammers. And I'm in the middle of everything. It's like I gotta pick and choose if I'm gonna spend Christmas with my dad or if I'm gonna spend Christmas with my mom. And because I'm the only child, anytime there's a problem with my mom or my dad, they come to me. They tell me everything that's going wrong, and it puts so much stress on me and it just tears me down. Like, my parents are like my best friends. And because I've done everything with them, now it's like I have to learn to pick and choose because of the situation. For example, for Christmas, my mother's husband wants her to be with him even though they don't celebrate the holiday, which I don't understand why. I think it's a kind of selfish thing. I'm going to tell you my personal opinion of how I feel, and it may be right, it may be wrong, but I'm going to tell you how I feel. I feel that my mother's husband, because he's never been married before or doesn't have kids, he doesn't understand the importance of how it feels to spend time with your child. Even if your child is 30, 40, 50, I'm always going to be my mom's little baby. I'm always going to be. I even have a saying when I get real stressed out. I bend my head down like this and I go, Mom, can I go back in your belly? Because going back in her belly, there's no stress or anything of that nature. So every holiday, I gotta see if my mother's gonna come spend time with me, even though her husband doesn't celebrate it. And when she doesn't come, I have a fit and I feel like the holiday is not complete. Yes, I know I got my fiance and I got baby Jam now, but I am so close to my parents and they're all I know as far as family, and if they're not here, I just don't feel complete. So it's still a struggle. I have a lot of anger. I have a lot of anger because I wish that I could have done something to make them stay together. You know, and it just won't ever be the same, jammers. It just won't be the same. The holidays aren't the same. When my mom does come over, and if she does come over for the holidays, she's got to leave at a certain time. She tells me it's because she just wants to leave, but I really think it's because her dude wants her to be at home spending time with her, which is understandable. And I'm not mad about that, and my mom has every right to move on. But for me, it makes it hard because I want my mom and dad with me on all holidays throughout the whole time to make me feel complete. Y'all may call me a baby, you may tell me to move on, but again, I love those two people. They're one of my dearest, special people in my life, and they mean the world to me. So I just have a lot of anger. I get frustrated. I feel like it's just not the same. For example, when I was pregnant, I was so angry at my mother because I wanted her to go to all the ultrasounds with me. I wanted her to be there because I remember her telling me, when you get pregnant, you have your baby, I'm going to be there for everything. Well, at this time, my mother had just gotten married. She was in her new life with her new man, a new house, new everything, and he wants her all to himself. And that's one thing that I don't like about that situation, is that now I have to share my mother. I didn't have to share my mother, and I feel like I should never have to share my mother. When my mom was with my dad, there was no such thing as sharing. It was, we were doing everything together. So this whole divorce thing has really been hard on me. And another thing is that when my mother divorced my dad, her dude wanted to meet me right away. And he couldn't understand that I needed time to heal. I told my mother, look, tell your man that right now I'm not ready. I have a lot of anger. I have a lot of resentment. I just don't want to meet him. I might pop off. I might snap off. Yes, it could be immature or not, but I was not ready. Bottom line, as soon as my parents divorced, my mom was dating this guy. I was just not ready to be like, hey, new father, how are you? And then on top of that, he asked my mother if he could adopt me. Like, change my last name to his last name? I mean, come on. I only have one father, and no one will ever replace that man. I love my dad, and ain't no other man gonna come in between my father and replace my father. Nobody. I don't care how good they are. Something that my mother always taught me is she said, you love your father no matter what. It's in the 10 Commandments. And I love my dad no matter what. My dad has been there with me through anything and everything you can think of. He may be a little bit crazy or whatnot, but he's been there for me. So this divorce, jammers, has been very hard. I still, in my mind, like manifest that they're together in my mind, but I know they're not. And I just hope that one day that they will come back together, because they've known each other their whole lives. And they're still friends now. And when I see them together now, it feels weird. And it used to feel like that. So it's like a forever, like, hole in my heart, because we're not the tripod anymore. It's not us three anymore. And it's just been so hard for me to deal with. So a lot of you guys have been asking, how do I deal with it? Well, basically, I pray every night. I ask God to give me the strength to keep pushing and keep forward. I pray that God keeps my relationship and my marriage strong as well. I do not want baby Jam to go through the same thing I went through. It's very hard. And especially when you have longevity in marriage, to me, that makes things even harder. Them being married for 34 years, that's all I know. Had they gotten divorced when I was 2, I wouldn't even remember anything. I wouldn't even have any memories that I would really remember. So all I do is remember the memories of them 2. And with this new husband of hers, he doesn't share the same holidays as us. And then we just don't really get along. He's just kind of arrogant is what I feel. And my mother can't understand that. And I'm sorry if I'm out here just spilling the beans, but I'm just keeping it 100 on how I feel. I really am. And this divorce has just been so hard. I'm still having a hard time. I feel like I can have to pick and choose when I'm going to spend what time with who. I don't like the fact that I can't have both of my parents together during things. I also don't like the fact, for my wedding, my mother's husband wants to go, but he doesn't want to go if my father's going to be there. Now, jammers, is that really fair? My father's walking me down. You think that I'm going to pick my mom's new husband over my father? So those are the kind of things that are very difficult and very hard with dealing with a divorce, especially later on in life. My mom's husband don't want to talk to my dad. My dad don't want to talk to my mom's husband. So there's no communication whatsoever. And in fact, he doesn't want my mom around anytime that my dad's around. So for example, baby Jam's birthday, my birthday, what, I'm supposed to not have my dad and then just have my mom there but not have my dad? So you see, jammers, what I mean when I say picking and choosing? Like, it's ridiculous. This whole divorce thing is ridiculous. So what I suggest for you guys, when you get into a relationship with someone, get to know them. And when you get married, take marriage prep classes. Take as much marriage counseling classes as you can. Try to get to know that person as best as you can. And you know what? It's a lot easier getting a divorce or walking away from something than working something out. And what I like about the church that I go to and the marriage prep classes that I'm taking is that they have us reading a book called For Better and Forever. And I'm a strong believer in that. And my mother raised me to be like that. She used to tell me, I'm never going to get a divorce. I'm going to stick it out with your father. We're going to do whatever we can. But she got to that point where she just couldn't handle it anymore. And I understand why. But at the end of the day, I'm the one that suffers the most from this. Because my mother doesn't have to deal with my father anymore. And my father doesn't have to deal with my mother anymore. But I have to deal with my mother and my father and how they're feeling, and have to think about how can I coordinate something so they can both be there. And then my mom feels a certain kind of way because her husband can't be there. And it's just a whole bunch of stuff. So at the end of the day, the kids are the ones that suffer the most. Or me, an adult. We suffer the most. And how do I deal with it? I just take it day by day. I keep the faith. I pray every day. And to be honest, jammers, I kind of just block it out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. But it's been so hard for me. And I've had so much anger towards the situation because I feel that I could have tried to make it work. But I know that no matter what I could have done, it wasn't going to work because it had to be my mother and father to make it work. Mainly my father, because my mother tried everything to make it work, but my dad again took her love for granted. So it's kind of like his fault. But you know, we're here now and I'm dealing with it every day. It's very hard. It still hurts in my heart. I am not close to my mom's new husband. I don't think I'll ever get close to him. He wants to force a relationship by force, and he wants to make a family instantly. And what people don't understand about that, parents, if you're trying to force your child to be just loving and caring to your new husband, let them do it at their own pace. Do not force them, because all that does is push them away. That does not make anything easier and comfortable. Your child has to heal at their timing. You can't force something that's not there. And if you have a little one, and you meet someone else and you want to get married again in due time, your child will learn to like that person and learn to get along at least and respect. That's the most important thing. And I do respect my mom's husband. I say hi, I say bye, but are we buddies? Absolutely not. Am I going to have him be my new father? Absolutely not. I only have one father, and no one will ever take that away. So jammers, I just wanted to share with you guys this story about my parents being married for 34 years, now being divorced. At this wedding, my father will be walking me down. My mother's husband will not be there because he doesn't want my father there. And at this point, I do have to choose. And who do I choose? My mother and my father. But bottom line, jammers, divorce is a very, very hard topic. I've been dealing with it for the last 4 years now. And it gets easier and easier in time. I'm learning to accept the divorce, but seeing my father crumble because of it just destroys me. And again, your children are the ones that are in the middle of everything. We're suffering the most because we're seeing both parents, whether one's happy or whether the other one is suffering from the divorce. So jammers, keep God in your prayers, and thank you for listening to me. And again, if you're not part of the family, it's never too late. Smash that sub button along with that notification bell for further videos. Thank you for tuning in to JM TV. Much love to you guys. One more thing, jammers. Always remember, respect both parents no matter what the outcome was. You only have one mother and one father, and whatever the situation is, learn to forgive them and move forward. It will ease up the pain in your heart. I appreciate you guys for listening to me. This was a very tough subject to talk about, but thank you so much for listening to me, and thank you so much, jammers, for continuous supporting us. We really appreciate you guys. The channel was growing. We need to constantly keep getting new subscribers, so let others know about our channel. And thank you so much. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you guys.